thought someone was behind me. Anyway, back for another video. Out in the desert again. Did you hear that? I basically live in a war zone. People are always out here shooting and blowing stuff up. Yeah, fun times. The reason for this channel really is that I wanted to help other people get into photography and learn photography. I thought from one amateur to another, share what we're learning, share some knowledge. And there's been one thing that I found recently that has taken my photos to the next level, I think. And that is, there's a guy named Dylan Spitz. He's a photographer and I bought his Lightroom preset pack a couple months ago and I love them. They're meant to mimic film. So he's got, I think there's 8 different ones in the pack. So what I want to do today is do a side-by-side comparison where we're going to compare JPEGs right out of the Fujifilm. I'm going to be using Kodak Portra 400V2 film recipe, which I will put up the details about that on the screen right now. I can also put a link to it from Fuji X Weekly. I'll put a link in the description. So we're going to compare JPEG straight out of the camera using the Kodak Portra 400V2 film recipe. And we're going to compare that to Dylan Spitz Lightroom preset, his Kodak inspired one. I'm going to put this whole video, I'm going to put them up side by side on the screen. I'm not going to tell you which side is which till the end of the video. I want you guys to look at them without knowing which is which. The whole video through, the left side will be the same and the right side will be the same. And at the end, I'll tell you which side was which. And you guys can decide which one you like better. When it comes to the Lightroom presets, I'm not going to go crazy editing, right? I'm going to apply his presets. And for both the JPEG and the RAWs that I'm doing with the presets, the only thing I'm going to allow myself to adjust is exposure and white balance. I want to do that because, you know, some people are like, well, I don't know. You know, like for me personally, when I first got the Fujifilm X100VI, I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know what I was doing. And that's why I think this camera's so cool, is because anyone can get it and you can get awesome looking photos right out of the camera. You don't have to worry about editing. You kind of can skip all that nonsense. But then slowly over time, I started trying to edit my photos, and I noticed that when I do edit them, they do look better than the JPEGs. The key I found is just find the artist you really like and buy their preset packs, and helps you learn how to edit your own photos. So I think I'm in the phase right now where I'm still heavily relying on presets. Every now and then I kind of do my own edit, but usually start with the presets and I tweak them to my liking. Another thing, this is not sponsored by Dylan in any way. I don't even know him. I just saw some of his videos on YouTube, liked his photos, and saw they did presets, and I bought them. So, not sponsored. I just think his presets are awesome. They've helped me make my photos look better. If you noticed, all the photos in the intro all had his presets on it. So, that's the kind of look you can get. But yeah, let's see. What's going to be better? Lightroom presets with RAW photos, or JPEG straight out of the camera? And you might be like, well, that's cheating. Not really. They're both super easy to do. Both very easy. Lightroom might be like one step more, but not by much. So let's compare it. I think, well, we'll see. We'll wait for judgment till the end, but you know, is that one extra step worth it? Let's find out. See you at the end. We kind of got this like, I don't know. What would this be called? Whatever. We got a pathway along here. All these people have been making, and I like how the mountains are kind of framed, kind of leading up to there. So take that, see how that turns out. This one, I just like how the top of this OBT is so wild. It's usually not like that spread out. You kind of see that one there, more condensed, but this one's so spread out. So we'll see if we can just get like the tops of that with the foreground and those mountains in the background. See what that looks like.
All right, there's a huge ocotillo, probably the tallest ocotillo I've ever seen. I'm trying to get, this is one I wish I had. This Fujifilm had a better flippy screen. I don't like that you can't flip it down when you're doing like portrait style. It's very hard to see, and I don't really feel like laying in the sand right now. This had the nice flippy screen like those Sonys have. This would be a lot easier.
right, we'll go with that. See what happens. Look at this thing. You know what? I'm gonna set this down.
And I'm gonna go stand next to it so you guys can see how ridiculously tall this thing is.
This thing's huge. Like maybe 15 feet. Woo! We're right on the border of Mexico, so most likely this was water that a migrant was carrying. But I find it interesting that it's like inside of a sock that says USA. All right, well.
Dead centipede. Gross.
Specialty furniture in the desert. It's getting kind of dark. I don't know if that'll turn out, but we'll see. Pretty colors out in the sky though. Look how pretty. All right, back at home, just looked at all the pictures and I'm actually really surprised at how close they were. The only thing I had to do with the JPEGs coming straight out of the camera was warm them up a little bit. Once I warmed them up a little bit, they started really matching Dylan Spitz's Lightroom presets. Actually really surprised how close they were. I thought there would be a bigger difference. I still think, well, I haven't told you guys which one's which yet. Before I do, consider subscribing. Just starting this channel, but the plan is to release a video a week for at least the rest of 2025. So please subscribe if you're enjoying this content. So yeah, the left side is Dylan Spitz's presets and the right side was the Fujifilm JPEG straight out of the camera with the film recipe, the Portrait 400V2 film recipe. Links to that will be in the description, as well as Dylan Spitz's presets. Let me know in the comments which one you guys thought was better. For most of the pictures, I prefer Dylan Spitz's presets. I think the colors look a little bit better. They're maybe a little more saturated. And I also think the contrast was lower, which helped bring out the shadows on some of the images. The other thing I like about his pack is there's a lot of customization to it. Like not only do you have the 8 standard presets, but then after that, he's got 4 different presets to help you adjust your highlights. Then after that, there's multiple presets to dial in the film grain you want, whether 35mm or 120. There's other options. And then lastly, there's options for sharpening. So his preset pack, it also comes with really good instructions and a reference guide. So highly recommend it, especially if you've never really messed with presets before. I think his pack is a good starting point. I've been really enjoying them. And, hope you guys check it out and give Dylan Spitz some love. I'll share his YouTube channel as well in the description. And that's it for this one. Trying to keep it short and simple. We'll see you next week.